All right. All right, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Stating Now. It is your girl, Audrey Codner, and we have Miss.
The marvelous Lisa Valera. Boy, do
Yeah.
we have a story to tell this week. Let's
Yes,
just
it's
say,
all about dating shenanigans. So look, we ain't gonna hold back. Go ahead, Lisa, because you're gonna start off first.
well, let me just say this, y'all. Okay, so just so you don't know, like, yeah, it's been a rough week. Sister's tired, but let me tell you about my little story. Girl went on a date. Yep, met this guy online. Photograph looked wonderful, just sexy, suave, Spanish guy. I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and see what this is gonna be about. So, we exchanged, did the normal, hey, how you doing? What's new in your world? Can we exchange numbers? And I said, you know what? This looks like it's gonna be safe. Let me see how this is gonna go. So he immediately calls me, which I'm gonna say this. Somebody holler at me and tell me how quickly do you wait for somebody to contact you when you give them your number? Well, whatever. And would you rather text or call? So at this point, I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump right in. So he calls me and we had a wonderful conversation. And it was funny because his pictures, I didn't know if he sounded very ethnic. Like, it's like, is he Spanish or is he Black? But it didn't matter. It really didn't. But, just gave me a little, peak of interest. So we were talking and everything was great. And he goes, hey, what are you doing later? You want to get together? And I was like, it's a holiday weekend, but didn't have to go to work the next day. So I said, you know what? Let me know how you feeling. It was a Saturday. We talked Saturday early afternoon, okay? I said, well, let me know what you're doing later in the evening, and we'll see what's going on. So we decided that we were going to meet up at about 7:30 that evening. And I said, okay. Being new to the Texas area, I didn't know where I was at. So I said, hey, shoot me up where you want to meet at. So he gives me this location. And you know who I am. I bring it up, and it's an apartment building. I said, excuse me, sir. We do not meet at anyone's apartment. I'm not comfortable, so let's choose a public place. He said, oh, well, I live near a lot of restaurants and everything. We can walk around. I said, again, give me a place. So then he politely gives me after several back and forth, he gives me a location. So I said, okay, I'll meet you there 7:30, no later than 8. Now, yeah, CP time, I'm always taking my time to get anywhere. But anyway, moving on. At this time, I was the first one there. And, it was a nice little brewery. So and I had a nice sundress because, ladies, it's sundress season. So I was looking kind of in my blue jean sundress and, my gray little heels, to match my blue and gray purse. Right. Matches my nails. But okay, let's get back on focus.
Right. I was like, cute, but go ahead.
Go ahead, right? So then I go up the stairs, and I sit on the patio. It's a beautiful evening. And waitress comes over. I said, I'm just gonna have a ginger ale and lime because I'm doing a little, taking a break from alcohol for a while, just something I want to, I'm doing for myself. And I said, I'm on a blind date. I tell her. So I'm just going to do ginger ale with the lime. He doesn't need to know I'm not drinking. She said, I got you. So now he shows up. And again, he's a very handsome man. A little bit shorter than I thought. But then I remember I did have my heels, little heels. So, had the nice complimentary hug. How you doing? And then we sit down and, the conversation starts. So, I work and I do this, and that. So I thought, oh, that's very nice. I do things that affects the world and this and that. So that's great. And all of a sudden the line goes in my head of, what's her name? What's her name? the country singer, when she says, I'm not impressed, so you're a rocket science. I'm not impressed
Oh,
with that.
Shania Twain.
Yes. So that went in my head, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to entertain that. And then he asked what I was doing, and I tell him, he gets this look on his face like, well, that doesn't sounds interesting. I'm like, oh,
Okay.
okay, no problem. So then the waitress comes and she says, sir, are you going to have anything? He goes, oh, what are you having? I said, I just got me a nice little cocktail. I'm fine. And he says, oh, I'll have a beer, a Corona, and I'll take it straight from the bottle. Now, remember, I told you I'm at a brewery. Now, if I was drinking, I mean, just saying, give me a draft, frosted glass, impress me. But he was like,
Right.
no. And again, that was fine. So then we go back and he starts telling me about his family, and he's telling me again about his job and his lifestyle and how he walked over and da 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 da. And then he was like, well, do you want to eat here? But I know another place that's even better. I said, okay. He said, but being that I walked, are you comfortable with driving, or would you want me to go back to my place and get my car and then you could follow me? I said, you know what? You're shorter than me. I think I could take you. I ain't worried about it. You can get in my car. So we go to the restaurant. We go to the restaurant, which is about not even 5 minutes away from where we were. And it's a nice little, Mexican restaurant. And we go in and we sit down. And he was very, opened the door and very, very gentlemanlike. So I gave him points for that. But then I happened to look down. Now he was dressed very nicely, really nice polo type shirt with some nice slacks and flip flops. I said, are those toes?
Say what? Wait. Hold on. Excuse me. Did you just say flip flops? Like
open toe sandals? Yes. I literally.
And this was a nice restaurant.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Yeah. Then again, it is Texas. It's hot. Maybe that's a new thing with men now. I don't know. And I was like, okay, no need to. I don't know. Maybe it's me. And that's just what I said. But I'm like, toes? My toes were out too. I guess we're all showing toes, whatever. So finally we get down and he goes, oh, they got a great place for margaritas. I said, well, really, I'm not drinking, just taking a little break. He said, oh, okay. Is that something that you want to do? Is that something you do? I said, this is something just for me. He goes, oh, okay. He said, do you drink normally? And I said, yeah, just doing something for myself. Remember, I told him I wasn't drinking. So, we go back and he's again telling me about his family, talking this and that. And I'm telling you, the evening had to be maybe an hour. And not once did he ask me how I was doing. Did I enjoy my food? And as I saw the lady at another table have an espresso martini, which is one of my favorites. Oh, would you like for me to buy you that? I said, no, I'm not drinking, but thank you. And so then he continues to talk about himself. And after a while, I don't know if it was my ADHD that kicked in, but I was like, I wonder if I could get up and go to the bathroom and then just go and leave. Maybe I should text my cousin and tell her to call me. I was thinking every excuse necessary because this guy does not care anything about what I'm saying, what I'm doing, what I'm wearing. So when I said to him, I said, well, excuse me, I'm going to go to the restroom. He gets the waiter and he said, excuse me, sir, can you take her to the bathroom?
What are you, 2? Like you need your diaper changed or something? I need for you to take the baby to the bathroom.
It's like, well, last I checked, I knew how to go. Literally, just totally threw me off. So I told the waiter, I said, just guide me where I need to go. He said, no problem. So, go to the restroom and I come back and, he's on his phone, which is fine. I wasn't trying to be nosy or anything. He's on his phone. So I sit down. I asked for a to-go container, thanked him for dinner. And he goes, okay, we get up, we start walking. He goes, hey, so you want to come to my place? I got a great bottle of wine. And again, didn't I tell you I wasn't drinking?
Right.
So we're walking. Now, what is the one rule? Now, this is something my father taught me early. When you're out on a date, which side of the sidewalk should the man be walking on? The side closest to the street, right?
It's the street. Right.
Guess what side I was walking on?
Other side.
I was walking on the street side. And I didn't say anything. He was holding my to-go bag, and he again was continually talking about himself. And I said, figure, it doesn't matter. Then he goes, oh, you look so nice this evening. Oh, I'm glad you noticed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
it's
then
like 2 hours.
Yeah. So now come up to my car. I said, okay, now just give me directions on how to get to your place. So, we go, and he goes, you sure you don't want to come up? I said, no, I'm fine. And thank you. And he said, you're right. Thank you. It was nice meeting you. Reached his hand and he shook my hand. And I said, wow, we're fine. So he gets out the car and he says, hey, I can't find my phone. Can you call it for me? So I called the phone, nothing rang in the car. I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. So he says, all right, well, maybe I got to go back to the restaurant. So by this time, I'm getting my directions together and I start heading home. I get home and it's about, 11 o'clock. And because I'm taking my sweet time. And then plus I was thinking, do I want to go out and have a drink for real?
The man is driving you to drink.
I get home and he texts me, hey, do you mind checking your car? I can't find my phone wasn't at the restaurant. You're texting me for your
right
phone? And then he comes back next line. Oh, I have 2 phones with the same number.
Who does that? Okay, good.
So
I'm gonna hold my comments to the end.
My response was, okay, because mind you, I wasn't checking nothing. I'm home. So the next day, which was Sunday, I go to church. I get in the car, and sure enough, this man's phone is at the bottom of on the floor of my car. And I was like, why didn't that ring when I called it? Right. Whatever. So, me and my family were getting ready to go to church. Why is this man's phone ringing in my car? Yes. Kid you not. So, I text him, let him know I do have your phone. I'm at church. I'll meet you at the grocery store, which was halfway, because I'm not again going to this man's house. So, he goes, well, what time will you think you'll be there? When I get out of church. So, I text him and called him up to let him know I was there just in case he got there before I did. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on my way, speeding, got pulled over, cops coming, I'll talk to you later. Like, okay, please don't rush on my behalf. So now, right. I had the phone in my pocket, came out of the grocery store. He was sitting there. I said, how you doing? Here's your phone. Have a great day. Bye. Literally, that's all I said. Made me really think, do I really want to do this? Like, gosh, I really want to do this. And then there was another guy in the same dating site. Nice looking guy. He said he was Italian. We were chatting online. My exchange numbers, text, and then, conversation was going really good. And then all of a sudden, nothing. Just went dead silence. I said, did I lose you? He goes, not really. He said, not really. I was on the phone. And then all of a sudden said, check the website. And I checked. Our messages were gone. He unmatched me. I said, well, at least you didn't waste my time of meeting you somewhere to find out you're only 3'10" or something. So yeah, thank you for not wasting my time. That was Dating Shenanigans chapter 1 for me.
Right? Chapter 1 on volume 648. Oh, it's almost like you in the sermon. Now we're going to change to hymn number 478, and we're going to sing the song of the hell. You said you were 6 foot. I'm looking down at you.
And but I don't know if it was, and as my cousin said, you were just irritated with him, weren't you? I said, I couldn't do it no more. I don't know what it was. For me, it's like, you want to go on a date with me? Can you at least have a place in mind where you want to go? 1. 2, when you have this place, give me the location. Don't give me a name. If you know that the restaurant you want to go to is a popular restaurant in Dallas where there's literally like chains everywhere, I think you need to give me an address.
Right.
Okay, now this guy is in technology, as far as, and I should say technology, manufacturing, materials for spacecrafts and stuff like that. I think you should know how to share an address.
Right.
So, maybe I should have not gone on that date when he first came up and said, come to his place. And then he gave me another place. He said, oh, it's called the Tabernacle. I said, we're going to church? This is a church date? Because mind you, if it's a church date, we're going to my church.
The King.
Mind you, and I am not going to shy away from a church date. Because mind you meet somebody who wants to go to church, who believes in God, who really wants to, see where your faith is. I'm all in. So I'm not going to shy away from a church date, but the conversation we were having, we weren't talking about, we wanted to get to know each other. I thought church was going to be it. Okay. And then he goes, oh no, that's the wrong name. It's called the Tavern. Okay. What's the name of the tavern? What's the address? See, that was my fault. When I had to go through all that with him in the beginning, I shouldn't have went. I shouldn't have gone. And then when I went, we end up finding out it was a brewery type thing. But, I figured, hey, we're going to start there and go somewhere else. Maybe I shouldn't have put that much effort into how I dress. Maybe I should have just threw on a pair of nice jeans and tank top or something.
I mean, but at the same time, someone's taking you out. You want to kind of show, especially the first time you're meeting, you want to show your best side, right. But that's on both sides of the table. So, like, I don't care how hot it is, unless you're going to, like you say, like one of those dive bars, like, all right, it's a really dive bar, but the food's really good and it's not so loud that we can actually have a conversation. All right, you told me it's a dive bar. Okay, I'm gonna like just dress the way, like, can I dress like super casual or do I need to get dressed up? So that's like a conversation. But if you're thinking like, all right, we're going to some place that's gonna be like, all right, the first time meeting.
And I asked him, I said, so we're going casual? What you think? Is it dressy? He said, well, casual. So for me, like I said, it was it wasn't hot, maybe a little muggy, but it wasn't like your normal scorching, like welcome to hell in its Texas. Right. But, right. I had a sundress. It's sundress season, so it was light, had a nice little, little cleavage showing, not a lot, but a little. And I was like, I could have went with the flat sandals, but I was like, no, I just want to show my legs a little bit. Ladies, you put on a nice heel, or a nice chunky heel a little bit, just to show those calves off. That's all I was trying to do. Show a little bit of the best side. But damn, when I looked down and I saw his toes, I said,
that one toe that you weren't sure what's happening. It's always the pinky toe. You're like, do you want to cut it off or no? But then you got the height thing. Like, I don't know about you. I'm 6. And if you're saying you're 6 foot, now I'm questioning. Because are you really 6 foot or are you really like 5'9"? And I'm like, guys, please, just be truthful with your height. I understand there's a lot of women out there that's not really giving so mad respect with the short kings, but
Right.
I appreciate you being honest because guess what? When we meet, I want to see how tall you are. I'm
Yep.
legit 6'1". No question. No 6, no 6'4". I'm 6'1". And there's times I want to wear heels. So if you have an issue, I had one date that said, if we go out again, you can't wear your heels. And I'm like, well, I guess we're not going out again because you can't tell me what I want to wear. If I feel like wearing heels, I'm going to wear the heels. If I feel like wearing flats, I'm going to
Exactly.
wear the flats. I'm confident in what I'm doing. If you're not confident in dealing with this in the early stages of the relationship, obviously this ain't going to work out. So, I mean, but it's almost like how casual is casual. So sometimes, like your definition or my definition of casual, if someone's telling you it's straight casual, that means I'm wearing, some dressy ish sandals, maybe some
Mm-hmm.
dress shorts, and a nice shirt. That's what I'm doing. But if you're saying semi, all right, I'm whipping out the dress. I'm gonna try little pumps, but I'm not gonna
Right.
be like adorned in a formal wear that I look like I'm going to
Right.
a prom or a wedding.
Right. Right.
So,
But it was
but
funny because I really, and I had to check myself. Man did say casual. So maybe that's his casual. He didn't show up in shorts or not
right,
even dress shorts. So, I don't know. Maybe I was the one thinking like, is that what men dress like now? You know, last date I went on, you know, me and the guy, we met up at Top Golf. So, golf shirt, he had golf shorts and
mhm,
sneakers,
right.
So I'm like, okay, I had my jeans and a t-shirt, dressed accordingly. We're at
Right.
Top Golf. So I'm like, didn't think nothing of it. And then the guy told me, he goes, well, really, this is my go-to look all the time. I may throw on a pair of jeans, but I don't have a lot of dressy stuff. And I
Mhm.
appreciated that. The guy was really upfront. And I told him, I said, well, if we're gonna keep dating, you need to jump up your wardrobe because I'd be wanting to
Right.
go to some nice restaurants. So,
Right.
but but you don't sit there and criticize anybody. But I was just like,
Sure.
this guy, he obviously I was not his type. Obviously, and the handshake kind of sealed the deal for me. I literally almost started laughing, like, oh my gosh, this is the closing of the interview. Because, I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, we definitely are not doing, date number 2. Ain't gonna happen.
Right.
And then when he did get his phone, he called me accidentally. Because when I picked up and said, hola, how you doing? Oh, my bad. Wrong number. Click.
What? Okay. Now, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to pause and rewind the tape. Why did this man have a phone? It's almost like, especially for women, like I don't know, like women, we're very sometimes extra with our security,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Mm-hmm.
when we're going out with it doesn't matter if you're going out with someone that's the opposite sex, the same sex, or whatever. There's always a sense of security when you're first going out with someone. So
Right.
one, you did good by going to a public place. But this whole thing of having a second phone with the
With the
same
same
phone
number,
number,
that was
now I'm thinking kind of slick. Let me see if I can put the phone in. This is when I'm like, all of a sudden my red flag just went straight up.
despite
Because
the
you
sense
have
of just like
those
what?
phones.
Burner
Yeah, like
phone?
you have those phones, you can do those tracking. So I'm wondering if, like, oh, let me leave the phone in there so I can track it so I know where your house is. Because some crazy people are like all that. So that's when my flag just went up. Two, you were about to leave out. Oh, wait, I must have left my phone. And why are you waiting until the end to talk about your phone? Anybody that's attached to their phone, they make sure their phone, they have it before they leave anywhere. And plus, you went to the original place where you guys met up and he
Mm-hmm.
walked there. So
Oh,
he already had,
but here we go. To give him this though, like I
uh-huh,
said, he gave me his address because that's where he wanted me to meet him at the first place. And then I said no, you know. So I passed right by it when I went to the first spot. So yes, he was walking distance for the first one. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Now, we're in Texas. It's an open carry state. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Come up here if you want to. And then when I told him, because he said, "Oh, where in Dallas do you live?" And I said, "I'm about 35 minutes from Dallas." He goes, "Oh, you're not from Dallas?" He goes, "That's not what your profile said." I said, "Why would I put on there where I actually live? Most,
Right.
I just for the security of my safety as a woman." Now, everybody probably say, "Well, you should have had him in your car." Well, you know what? I'm like this. You're probably right on that one, but I feel a lot safer in my car than I am in somebody else's car.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, I don't know if you could call it my army technique, or I've watched too many darn Fast and Furious movies or whatever, but I know how to run somebody over. I'm just saying allegedly. Allegedly, I heard, that you
Right.
could,
Right.
push somebody out your car and, allegedly. I'm not saying I've done it. I'm just saying
Right.
this is what I
Right.
heard,
Right.
But yeah, it's like one of those, like, yeah, come to my house if you want to.
But
I'm
I
not
mean, that search, it's just like, and then where did you find him? What site did you go on?
that was on Elite Singles site.
Okay. Now, if
And
you guys haven't done Elite Singles before, because I signed up, and for me, I haven't like really had a conversation with anybody. I've had people come in, they like my pictures or they like what I said, and the process wasn't that bad, to sign up for it. It was
that's
like
true.
pretty okay.
Pretty easy.
And yeah, it was pretty easy actually. It was a couple of things. You answer some questions. You just have to be real and truthful with yourself when you answer them. Because if you like, oh, let me see what my dream guy will like, all of a sudden you're going to get everybody under the sun. That is not your dream guy. And you're like, oh, and you're spending so much time hitting the X. No, 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 no,
Exactly.
no, no, no,
And
no,
a
no,
lot
no,
of
no, no.
with Elite that I found different, or what I did not like, is when you
Mhm.
put your age bracket in, why is it that the algorithm is showing you everybody outside of that? And
Mhm.
I was like, okay, if I said I wanted to date somebody between 40 and 60, why are you sending me your matches from 65 to 72?
Yes.
That was a little odd to me. I did not. So I would not recommend Elite Singles. Now, mind you, somebody else may have a better experience, but me personally, I did. And okay, I only did the 1 month, because it, to
Mhm.
me, doesn't take that long to know if it's working or not. You really
Yes.
did. Yeah. So
Yes. Because
I did
I
the one
was the
month and
same way.
I canceled it.
Right. Same
But yeah.
here. That was what I did this weekend because, well, the one thing, even if you do want to try it out, like to really go out there, I
Mm-hmm.
always say, like, when you sign up, give yourself like a week before you start paying for the whole thing. Because after a week, I'm starting to notice, and I did for a couple of sites, if I just sign up and I'm just kind of glancing and not doing anything, eventually after a week, they will give you a discount. They'll give you like 33%
Yeah.
off and all that stuff. So when you sign up, like don't go ahead and pay for it right away. Give a little bit of time. And then especially like the first pages of guys that you get, you're gonna be like, oh, he's cute. Oh, he's this. Oh, no, they're always going to put those actors or those models
Yeah.
up there to drag you in. And you're like, he's 45? There's no way. Or he's 70? Get out. Yeah, because they're lying. Like, there's no way you're not 70. I
Yeah.
don't care if you have the fountain of youth in your backyard. There ain't no way your ass is 70. Um, you
Funny.
bathing in it
Too
constantly.
funny.
Like, it's not
Yep.
happening.
Not happening. Not it was just very interesting. But
Mhm.
I had to share that one dating experience with y'all, because that was And I'm ready for the open conversation. Y'all can sit up there and say, Lisa, you were crazy for doing X, Y, and Z, or but give me your feedback. Let me know what you're thinking,
Right.
because I'm planning on dating again, and going on another date, and just keeping my options open. But
Exactly.
the next one, it'd be like, no, I need a place with an address and a time. That's it.
Right.
And ladies, I also want to throw this in there. How do you feel about a man who wants to take you on a date but asks you to pick the place because he figures he wants you? Do you think it's him wanting to give you the option or put you in control for your security purposes, or do you like a guy that's in control? Because me personally, I like a guy that says, "Hey, meet me here at this time." I like a guy who would plan something, even, especially for a first date, instead of me like, oh, you tell me where you want to go. I think for me personally, it shows he's very interested in wanting to meet you instead of, oh, I'm just more interested in what kind of place you like. Give me your feedback on that and let me know. But Audrey, what about you? I mean,
I'm more of the other end. I'm more of the other end. Like, I kind of like someone to give me options. Nothing crazy, not 10 options. Like, probably like, give me your top two, like, if we can go somewhere. And it has to be not a movie. I like to talk. I don't want, because when you're watching a movie, you don't get the chance to talk. Like, as a first date, like, let's go somewhere. I don't want to be like a hole in the wall, but if it's a hole in the wall that I know and I've been to, and I know the food is going to be great, the atmosphere is not so busy around, I like that. But like, I'm still like close to something where it's busy. I always let my friends know where I'm going and all this other stuff. Sometimes they're crazy enough to just pop up. Like,
I sure did drop my location off to my family. Here I am.
Exactly.
Sharing my location for the rest of the evening.
Right? And I mean, like, I know I can go to the gym and all this other stuff, but you never know. Like, you just never know. But I kind of like someone give me some options, like, all right, what kind of food you like? Because if they pick something and I don't like eating that, or I'm not into that, I don't want to sit there and say, yeah, let me have a salad, because I can have a salad at home. Like, if we're sitting here, like, I'm not saying I want like lobster. I don't mind if they're just like, yeah, go ahead, get the lobster, girl. If you want to get the crab cakes and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, well, okay. But I kind of like the choices. I like someone to kind of like, what are you into? And it's like, well, I'm into this, but at the same time, they're being truthful of what they're into. And don't try to say stuff just to make me feel better. Like, what are you really into? Like, you want a whole leg of lamb? Okay. I like lamb, but maybe not that much. That's something like that.
And that for me is a great, great. I understand that. And me personally, because I've always been one in charge, like, oh, let's go here, let's do this. And I just want somebody else to take the wheel for a little while. You know what I'm saying? I'll share my location. I search at the place where we're going, check out the reviews. It's like, okay, this looks nice, never been here before. I think I kind of know the area, and and I felt okay. So, I can then say yay or nay. And usually first conversation, what kind of foods do you like? What do you like? So kind of hoping that a guy would read the room, so to speak, to know like, okay, this seems like really nice. But this guy wasn't reading anything but himself. He just really wanted to talk about himself, talk about his accomplishment, his children, or his one child. I mean, he had 3 children, but he loved his one child. And I was like, okay. And he talked a lot. And it was like, okay. But I guess I didn't have much to say. And for my friends who know me to know that I don't have much to say, no, I was ready to go. Right. I just sat there and was like,
Yes.
my ginger
And the
ale.
fact that it had someone walking you to the bathroom, I'm surprised they said, "Oh, here's $10. Make sure her ass come back to the
Hey,
table."
I thought that was different. I'm like, did you
Right.
just say take her to the
Right.
bathroom? And I was like, ugh. And he didn't. And I don't know. In my old school, because I kind of wanted him to stand up when I got up off the table, because he was holding doors and you know pulling chairs out, So it's like, okay, seemed like a much of a gentleman. And I do know I tend to walk faster than most people, and
Mm-hmm.
and when I was out with my best friend's brother, we were hanging out. He said, "Girl, would you slow down and let a man get to the door first?" Which I had to kind of keep that in mind when I was on my little date, because it's like, yeah, I was walking a little bit too fast.
Right.
But that was just me. And, you get into the habit. So it's like, dang, I had to do my own dating etiquette, class or conversation with myself before I walked out the door. But it's really funny. I really want to hear how other people, do anybody else goes through that too. Like, do you really, if you haven't been dating for a while, have to remember he's got to open the door for me? And maybe some of the ladies don't want that anymore. I'm
That's
old school,
true.
and I'm not saying it's wrong or anything. I just think chivalry is not dead. I mean, I love it when a guy opens up the door. I love when he takes my hand and, helps me out the car, or, from my seat. It's like, oh, you want brownie points? Just do a little bit of that for me. I'll just blow me away. I think one date I had, first date, and the guy came with flowers. And I thought that was so nice. It was really just sweet, and of course Lisa has the good angel and the bad angel. The bad angel goes, well, that's a little bit over the top. How does he even know you're going to get a second date? How you even like flowers? And I mean, I had to laugh. I was like, oh. But it was so sweet. Unfortunately, that guy did not get a second date, and I felt kind of bad that he spent the whatever $40 for the roses. But it's like, I like it. I like the gesture.
Yeah.
I'm a little romantic. It's the little things. The thank you notes after, or the little note, and he didn't even ask, like, hey, give me a call when you get home. Like,
Wow.
you weren't even a little bit concerned that I got home okay.
He was really hoping that you were going to stay. And it's almost like he was the type that he didn't care if he liked you, yes or no. If he couldn't get what he wanted to get, he don't care. It's like, all right, you're just another chick. And it's like you can't tell that personality from a picture. Regardless
Exactly.
of how many times you talk to somebody, they're always gonna have like their face, they're gonna have their front. And you just really just have to like, unfortunately, take some time to get to know each other before you start jumping into anything else. But it's like you
Exactly.
can't, you look and you're like, oh, this is a great picture. Of course, because a lot of people are going to take the time to put those great pictures out there on those profiles
I
because they're
mean,
not going to
you're
just
you're
put,
trying to sell your best self. Who's gonna go out there and put the picture of you when you just, when you're playing around with the kids or whatever, you making the silly faces. Nobody does that. Of course you're gonna put your best picture out because you want to get the best person to, that's out there. It's a fishing game. You're trying
yep,
to, you got to use yourself as bait. You got to sell yourself. So of
yep,
course you're gonna put your best picture out there. But when so then when you do meet, you go, okay. And it was funny because one thing I learned on that day, I have to say, because I do tend to beat myself up. So I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have the opportunity to really curl my hair like I wanted to. And I kept saying, no, we're not going to do that anymore. He pointed out things about himself, like, oh, you could tell I got my nose broke here. And I'm like, it's funny because I wasn't even noticing that until you pointed
right.
out. Now I'm looking
Now I'm
at your
staring at
nose. Exactly. I'm looking at your nose.
you. You're like all kind of like doing that side head tilt, like, yeah, it is kind of crooked. Wait, let me see if I look it over here. Yeah, yeah.
That's
No, it's
crooked.
just
It's still
crooked
crooked.
as hell.
It's crooked. So you sit there, you go like, okay, okay, you can take a punch. Okay, this is nice. Oh, it was a really interesting evening. And it was funny because Audrey, when I called you up and like,
Right?
girl, I saw
And then you
total.
mentioned the flip-flops and I was done.
And all you can
I
say,
was,
flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop.
I can hear him coming now. Flip-flop, flip-flop.
And you know what? And it's so funny because I have a pair of sandals. They're comfortable as hell. I love them. But every now and then when I walk, you hear that. Pop, pop.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, these definitely will not go on a first date. Maybe the third date, but not first date.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, it's hard. It's just hard everywhere. But at the same time, you have to go through these things. You have to
Yes.
go because you can't just sit around like, oh, all men are dogs. No, they're not.
And you know what? He's
Sometimes
really
you don't see the right one in that
right
right
one.
picture. You just
And
gotta put
it
it
just
out
it
there.
just was not a match. That's all. I mean, some women would have just loved just listen to somebody talk about themselves. But you at least wanted them to show some kind of interest in you, something.
Exactly.
Like literally, I'm like, damn, did I tell that story right? Did I, he asked me what I did for work, and his whole face was just like, okay, I'm not asking you to be impressed by that, but it's just okay.
Right.
So you don't care. Show some kind of interest, something. So what
Right.
I said, well then let me play it. Then let me play along with you. Oh, that's nice. Yes, your job is very, very important. Yes. And he said, "Oh, would you like to try my food?" No, it's okay. I'm good. No,
Okay.
okay, I'll try. Yeah, it's nice. It's good. Okay, moving on. I have the rice and beans. All of a sudden, I mean, I literally lost my appetite. And
Mm,
it was like I love Mexican food, even though I can't really do onions. I love Mexican food, so I really would just like. I think I got some Tums in the car. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll
right.
do one for the team, because I love me a good chimichanga. Good, but I was like, okay, I'm ready to go.
You know,
And I'm pretty sure my face said it too. I'm pretty
because
sure.
we all do the same thing. We're like, yeah.
Yeah.
No smile, just a nod, like, yeah.
And I don't know if anybody else does this, but at one point I'm looking around the room like, does anybody else know that this is not working? It's just somebody come over and say, hey, are you okay? Blink 3 times if you need help.
You looking for
You
the
know,
escape route. I'm like, all right,
just
if I just push
somebody.
them to the side, I could probably get around them and just hit with the
Exactly.
car. Or okay, I'll
Exactly.
go and you tuck and roll. All of a sudden you do like the soldier crawl, like to the door from the bathroom.
But
Why
I
are we
did
doing
have to laugh because at least I knew I was the one driving, that I could have took my purse into the bathroom, just kept on going.
that?
And he would have known nothing. Deleted the phone, blocked him, and woo, bye-bye. I would have found but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And, just let's say no date number 2. So hopefully,
Now, I got a question for you.
and I
Now,
may have an
you went on
answer.
this date. Here we go. You got the person in your phone because you got the phone number. Do you right away delete the number or do you keep it in your phone and write a note? Like maybe have like some kind of coding. Because
No,
like
I delete.
just like how he did the accidental, oh yeah,
Yeah,
wrong number. No, no, you wanted to call. But
exactly.
do you
Or
get
maybe
rid of it right away?
I think he was trying to see if I had blocked his number already. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm, okay.
When I handed him the phone in the parking lot, he goes, "Hey, babe," and I'm like, "Here you go. You have a great one. Bye." When I literally tell you, I was frosty, very frosty, and then I turned around like I didn't even give him a chance to try to get out the car. Nothing. I was like, "No, here's your phone. Nice have a great one, turned around and walked away. So maybe he was trying to see if I still had his number. But in most cases, I usually delete it right away. Block, delete. It's like there's no need to waste anybody's time. Really isn't. Really isn't. So, and I've been on the site once since that date. And that's what I know. No, I'm lying, twice. And then I know, the message is gone. So I was like, okay, we both got the same sentiment. This is not going to happen again. Very good.
Right.
So that's going to be one of those topics we should have later is, how long does it take you before you delete somebody off your message board? He's just being a pain in the ass. You ain't into him. Do you just automatically delete him? Or do you politely give him, because sometimes I just stop talking to people. I don't mean by ghosting, but like if they say good morning, I say, oh, good morning. And that's it.
Right. Because I don't want to give you false hope. I don't want to make you feel like, I'm like, look, especially like for us, like most of the people that's going to be hopefully watching this is going to be seasoned women. So like 40s and up. And, we've been through the whole thing. Either we were divorced or were married before, going through whatever our sequence. Now we're going back into the dating pool. And I keep seeing people, especially like friends of mine that's on TikTok, and they're all like, this is some craziness. Like, the men that we're hoping to have in around our age group, as you mentioned, sometimes we go on these websites and they always get someone that is not our age group, or my favorite, they're not my preference. Like they're not my cultural preference. And all of a sudden what's being flooded is because they just see, oh, you're African American, that means you need African American guys. Like for me, I'm basically like the dating UN. If you treat me well, I will definitely go and I will be open to whatever culture. But I know there's certain cultures that I know for me, because I like to have my opinion, I like to have my voice, and some cultures don't allow that for women. So that's the type of people that I know. As much as how adorable you may look and you may be very kind, but I know eventually you're going to want me to be very submissive, and that's not me. So when it comes to that, and when you go on these websites, sometimes they just skip over and you're like, so why did I take all the time to fill all that information out telling you who I am? Even the Eskimo kisses all day, but if that's my preference, show me my preference instead of now you're just gonna get all these guys.
On the other hand, though, you may come up on their preferences, hence why you come up in their algorithm, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? And you got to weed them out, from there. But when for what I was saying earlier, I said my dating pool is from 40 to 60. Stop sending me matches for 64-year-olds, 70-year-olds. It's outside of that. I blame the website for that, because you're sending me matches. Now, if a guy hits you up that is outside of that range, obviously I'm within his. Okay, then I can entertain it or not. But some of these dating sites, I think they just, I don't know, they just see your age and they just throw you in there and say, okay, well, obviously you need to be with somebody older. No. Or maybe that's God telling me, like, girl, you need to leave young boys alone.
Right.
And get you a, and I'm like, but no, nobody look like he's gonna die next week.
Right.
Oh, no, come on.
I know we're all someone's children, but I don't want to date someone's firstborn at the rightful age of 22. No. Oh, you're doing someone's son. I'm like, no, I have former students around that age. Like, I can't be doing that. Oh, stop.
But then again,
and they're like, hey, what's up, gorgeous? Oh.
I don't mind dating somebody's their father, but I don't want to date your granddaddy. I know
right.
I may be a
Where's your
grandma,
dad?
but but it's like, hold up, I'm Nana. I'm too sexy to
Right.
be grandma. I was
I'll
telling
be
getting
your
her groove back. That is too funny. But yes,
Oh my.
next week I am having my wine, y'all. And you know, we pick our next time. I'm gonna have a wine for the night. So if we're doing Wednesday, I'm gonna do my, maybe I do like I'm trying to think what's a good Wednesday wine. They say Wednesday used to be spaghetti day. Remember Prince Spaghetti Day? No, I'm dating
Yep.
myself on that one, but
But I remember too. So that tells you
but
something.
I think I might pull out a nice cab to go with my spaghetti for Wednesday. So,
There you
guys,
go.
anybody wants to drink with me, bring out your cabs. We'll talk
There it
about how
is.
wonderful they are because I am
There it
ready.
is.
And y'all just gonna have to forgive me because I am in my bedroom because I was being too lazy to get up and go into my little office area, and I'm like hiding my pillow.
Look, we're trying to be comfortable because sometimes when you're dating, you have to be like kind of like laid out and relaxed because some of these things you go through some of these profiles, you go through some of these systems, and you're just like, wow,
Wow.
wow. But I will admit that even though elite singles, they will keep you up to date if anyone's looking at your profile, if anyone sent
Mm.
you a wink, if anyone sent you a message, like they are on top of it. So I will give them that.
Okay.
Sometimes same thing with Match because I did Match for a little bit. And then I don't know if it was me, maybe I'm just not ready to date. Sometimes I have to ask myself that question because I'm like what? Like a year and a couple of months out from, making my transition from being a married
Mhm.
woman to now a divorcee. So it's like sometimes I had to ask myself because we got on the phone a couple times. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. You were like, what's wrong? Did you wrong? I'm like, I don't know. Every time this person winked at you and you go and you're like, he only got one eye. Like, I don't know how he's telling me he's winking at me. Or like there'll be someone they'll just have a picture and they'll have like their chest out and they're just kind of leaned into the chair trying to look at you smoltery and you're like,
Mhm.
dude, who are you staring at like that? Like, what you really think that is drawing me in? With you just sitting there,
Oh my
or
God.
your favorite pose with the fish. I don't know. I
Yes.
think everybody wanted to go fishing, and like, it don't matter what age. They're all holding the fish all
They're
proud.
all holding a fish.
Like,
It's like, what's up with that? Why is everybody gotta have a fish picture? I it's like, okay, this is not Sports Illustrated, dude. Really. I know you like the fish. Dang. You know, put the fish down. I think the fish wants to be put down too. Everybody put the fish down. Let's move on. But then again, let's go on the other side of the table. Ladies, and
mhm.
I am guilty for this. Go on my profile. I have me a glass of wine in a minute. And a guy goes like, is she an alcoholic? Three out of six bitches, she's got a glass of wine in there. She always drinking.
Like swipe, swipe. Damn.
Like, but she said on there she drinks sometimes. Well, 3 out of 6 bitches, you got a glass of wine. That's a lie. You drink a lot.
Right.
So it's we all do it. We just have just a different, just
So what would
hilarious.
be now if we could give some suggestions to our male counterparts? Let's kind of go with that.
Okay.
If we could give some suggestions, what would be a decent pose for them to have in their pictures? Like, should there be just one, maybe two that's pretty dressed up? Should there be one that's like, casual minus the fish? Should there be one with, well, obviously they can't put one with them with friends, because
Right.
most of the pictures
Right.
they always want is just you in it.
Right.
So that's why sometimes you'll see it all scratched out. It's not because it's an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend.
Mhm.
It's because they can only
Know
have
who you
one picture
talking
in
to?
one picture. Hmm?
You want to know who you're talking to, because a lot of guys, they put up there one picture of themselves. You don't want that picture be him and three other guys. Who are you talking to? Who are you
Yeah.
interested? But to go with your point, I love a picture of a guy with a nice smile. Keep your smile. Look happy. Don't. I've
Yes.
seen some. If it doesn't look like a mug shot, it looks like,
Mm-mm.
like you just left a funeral. Like, for real. If you're not one of those people that have really, like, you don't think you have a good smile, then have a really well dressed picture.
Hmm.
You dressed up, because mind you, now you're looking sexy. You look like, you got that one picture that you really look like you put some effort into it. So
Right.
definitely have a well dressed picture, and do your casual too. I'm not against a nice baseball hat. You know what I'm saying? Or the
Uh-huh.
Kango. I'm not against any of that, because I love sports. So if I see you in your sports gear, but don't have an outfit. And what I mean by the outfit is the shirt and the pants are the same pattern. That's
And the
an outfit. Yeah.
socks and the shoes, and it's always mint green. Yeah, I'm coming after y'all. Let it go.
Stay away from
Let it
stay
go. The
away
70s
from
is
the outfit.
over. Let it go.
It's like, no, no. And there was something on Facebook where it shows this couple and they were both dressed alike, had the same outfit. And it was like, I don't want to be that in love, that so in love. And I'm like, I'm with you on that one. I need you to look like, you know, I don't I don't want us looking like we're going to Six Flags.
Right.
We're going back to our,
Christmas pictures. Christmas, I can see. That's cute. You know,
that's
little
cute. The
Christmas, you're in your
pajamas,
little Christmas
everybody. Yeah,
PJs, all right, little picture. Oh, that's sweet. But
it's
not
adorable.
all the time. Oh, we're wearing
Somebody.
green today. We're wearing pink today. We're
No, we're
and then you
not.
look at the guy's like, she dressed me. She told me we were in red today. She know I don't wear red, but she dressed me in red. Like, and then going back to the
Exactly.
baseball hat. You have your baseball hat. Yes, have a couple pictures with the baseball hat, but have a couple pictures with no baseball hat.
Exactly, because we need to
Be
know.
real.
Just like you want
Right.
to know women if they have their own hair, we want to know if you got hair or not too. Don't come up here with
Yes.
every pictures with a baseball hat, then you take your hat off and your darn hairline is back here. Or you hitting the LeBron James or something, or you one of those that's doing the spray thing. Don't do that in Texas. That heat will call you out. You'll be melted all over the place. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But listen,
The comb over from the back to the front, the
I,
comb. Look, there there are some beautiful bald-headed men, and I understand.
oh
Especially
yeah,
if you got like smooth in the back, beautiful.
yeah,
You can have that dome.
beautiful, beautiful. But you know what? Don't do the Stevie Wonder. Don't go there with that one little piece of hair in the back of your head or one. Now I know there's some guys out there that look really great with the hair bun. Okay, I know there are some. Seen them. Whew. But it's not for everyone.
Right.
If two girls told you that looks good, ask your sister. She'll tell you. And if she say don't do it, listen to your sister. Because
Right.
some girls are just, they don't care. Ask.
Right.
Ask a friend, please. Ask a friend. Just ask
Right.
a friend.
And just be
But
like,
yeah,
can you please be truthful? And I'll be like,
please.
take that off.
And don't.
Toupee,
And another one.
take that off.
Do not have any of your profile pictures with you in bed. Please.
Yeah. All
Please.
posed up.
All laid up with your, yeah. You know,
With the hand over the head, like, this is
oh, oh,
dead, girl. I'm like,
I need to let her know what I look like in bed. No, no.
here, let me show you what I look like in bed. That's it.
With the drool coming down. Oh, I'm sorry.
Drool on the side, hair all the way up to the side. This is what you're gonna get. You know, like, yeah, this will be cute. Oh, I'm cute. When are we going out? But you know what? This thing is coming up in the fun, and that's it.
And that is it.
With my stocking cap on, my bonnet. And I got a different bonnet. So every night I'll be a different woman that you want. You want a Jamaican woman? You can get that Jamaican woman. You know, we can go la French. I can do a little French. And, you know, I'll be everything you want. Put a different bonnet on. Go ahead. What you want?
Exactly. What do you want? But yes, that it would be those is like, guys, don't do it. Don't do it. You know, you know, and like I said, I'd rather see you with a dog or a cat in your arms than a fish. I get it. You like to fish. Great. Do you cook the fish? You know?
Right.
Do you clean the fish? Do you expect somebody else to do it? I don't know. I have
and that's not me.
I see it. No,
I'm not skilled on anything. I'm sorry.
No.
But then don't just have like waste, like you only get so many slots. Because some, you know, places will give you like 6 slots. Some places will give you 8 like pictures or 10 pictures. But don't fill it up with just nature or just a random bunny rabbit or like your grandbaby. It's great that if you're holding, well, you can't really hold your grandbaby, but you know, it could be an act of a child. All right, you want to show that you're a grandfather, or you want to show that you're a father.
You love your or you're a family man. That's great. That's awesome.
I get it. But just a random mountain behind you? Am I supposed to fall in love with the mountain? Or am I supposed to fall in love with you? Do you love going to the mountains? How about you in the mountain? Like, not just the mountain. Like, is that what you conquer it? Like, it's sometimes like the landscaping. Why?
Or the cars. You like cars. So you want to show off your cars.
Okay. It's not your car. You know it's not. You know it's not your car. You know it's not your car. You saw that car in the parking lot. You like, all right, let me pose next to it. Because we as women, sometimes we do it too. We do it too. We be like, oh, let me look at this Benz.
Yeah.
Just laid up. Somebody take that picture real quick, girl.
Knowing
that's not your car.
No, damn well I got me a Honda. You better leave me alone.
If I got that.
Leave me alone. Oh my gosh, girl. That is hilarious. That's hilarious.
Because you know it's true. They go to the car shows. They'll go to the club, maybe bond up with someone that has a car. Then you got the person that, let me put one foot in the car and the other foot outside the car. They hold the steering wheel and they're just like, okay, hurry up, take that picture. And then all of a sudden, the owner of the car is like, all right, get your ass out of my car.
Oh, no. Be over there. No, everybody knows you were in Miami. Okay, you were down there on South Beach. Okay, and all those beautiful cars. Come on, because I did it. I sure did. I saw me a Lamborghini. Take a picture before he comes back. Take my picture before he comes back.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I've done it. I ain't gonna lie. Yes,
you know, get this luxury car. Go ahead and Benz it up. But when all of a sudden you show up and then you're like, yeah, I'm parked around the back. I'll just walk you to your car. Stay in that car for a little bit. Find out what the hell they're driving. And that's fine. If you're driving an Escort, if you're driving, I don't know, a Navigator, or if you're even driving a Pinto because you had to push the thing there, do what you have to do. Does it get you from point A to point B? But we just get so consumed with, all right, I got to impress this person. And then guess what? When you do fall in love, you fall in love with the person that you were trying to be. And then all of a sudden you get tired. And then the real side of you comes out. It's always month 2. That's when you're like, whoo, all right, I got you. Okay, we made love a couple of times. We've been hanging out. We like each other. We're talking about moving in together. We're talking about doing other things together. And then all of a sudden, they start getting comfortable. And this is on both
And the
sides.
real, yes, yes. Then
And
the
the
real
real
you
side
come out.
jumps out, and you're like,
What
what is this?
is? Yep. But like my sister said, wean them out. Weed them out. And I said, yeah, girl, like a weed whacker. Next.
But then sometimes there might, and I'm like, I don't know. I know there's a lot of people saying there is good men out there. But I think it's because the way they present themselves, they try so hard to be what they think we want. I'd
Right.
rather you be who you are. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a nerd and you
Be a
like
nerd.
Comic-Con and you like
Yep.
dressing up like a fur baby, whatever, I'd rather
Hold
you
on.
be
Hold
open
on.
and say that.
I came across a profile. This guy was sexy as hell. And he was dressed up as a fur baby. I was like, oh, oh, that's interesting. And
Right?
like, I have questions. But I tell you what, I went left so fast after that. I said, I do not want nobody coming up here trying to dress up like Winnie the Pooh. Talking about, you want my honey? Bye.
But you know what? I bet you there's a girl out there that's dressed like a
That
damn unicorn waiting for where is my Winnie the Pooh? Where he at? But
literally. So you know what?
it's just not me.
But I was like, dang, that was a little forward. I mean, you're right. You're right. You got to put it out there because you don't want to. You don't want to have to explain it to somebody later.
Exactly.
And that would be me going.
Right. Right. And I gotta get used to this.
Now I'm sitting up there like, again, good angel be like, run, heifer, run. Bad angel go, wait a minute, how does that work?
And you want me to put that on?
Do you do that, or do I have to do that? Do I have to go buy one? Do I have to get one too? Does it matter which one? Do we have to do the same animal? Now I'm
and there's
asking
a preference. Right.
And then now I've made you uncomfortable because I am like, literally like, I want to know because I am going to tell the girls when I leave.
I'm like,
now I've totally just made fun of this man because that was what he wants to do. You know what?
But at least he put it out there from the beginning. So there is like no question. This is what I like to do. I like to dress up. I like to go to Comic-Cons. Any opportunity I can dress up like this in public, I'm all for it. I might like to do other things with it. But at least he, or sometimes she, is just being out
right
there.
Up front. Exactly.
Right up front.
And
right up front.
You know
so there's no question.
And I say kudos for that. That's a lot of bravery there. And more people should be just that vulnerable or transparent, to be honest with you. Because you're going to attract what you're going to attract. And, and then you just move on if you don't like it. You definitely don't like it. So,
exactly.
This is Shenanigans, Dating Shenanigans 101.
Yep.
Or 101. Or should we say 10.1? How are we going to do that? Because I'm sure, knowing my track record, I probably have another one. So then I really should start, marking them as 101 because there is no O, there's no letters in the, but that's another episode of Pet Peeves 552. So, so anyway, Dating Shenanigans with Lisa.
Yes.
Hopefully, next one would be a little bit more interesting, and I could have some. Because it's summertime, I want to do things. I want to, I want to go out. I want to be outside.
Yeah,
I do.
But it's too damn hot, and then I feel like all the craziness. Every time it gets hot, everyone's just like, it don't matter who they are. Everybody got want to say that they got game. Even the people that just got the summer tea or whatever, they're all like, hey, what's up, honey? No, it's hot out. It's 100 degrees. Everybody coming outside.
Your breath is hot. Everything is hot. let's
Everything's
go.
hot. Right.
Melted. But I want to do the I would love to go to a nice, amusement park or, do something fun outside. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mind you, I'm here in Texas, probably have to wait until it's 10 o'clock at night before it gets an actually decent temperature to want to walk outside.
Right. Y'all frying
But
eggs on sidewalks and stuff. I don't know how we keep our hair straight. Like you just sweating out all kinds of perms
girl,
every
I
two
don't even want.
seconds.
I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, he probably was looking at me because I have natural hair and I had my curls. By the end of the night, my ends were maybe bumped. He probably like, damn, this is she? Is that her hair? And I don't know. He was of a Hispanic descent, so I'm pretty sure they know a little bit about ethnic hair, maybe because there are some
Right.
Hispanic women who have the same problem. Well, a lot of women have the same problem. I'm not just saying ethnic, because I've seen some white women, they be like, oh God, this heat just got my hair looking like strings. So I'm sure we all have that story, but maybe that was another reason why. But it's okay, because I know I looked good, because when I came around the corner, this other guy kind of looked at me and I just gave him a nice little wink from the bathroom. So I knew I looked good. So I was pretty confident in that. So I don't want y'all thinking that I'm putting myself down in any way. No, but I just wasn't his cup of tea, which is fine, because I might be somebody else's tequila. Hey, let's get that on a t-shirt.
All right, so let's wrap this up, because we're going to basically be talking more about dating shenanigans. So again, we'll be here every week talking about all the little things that's coming up, giving some suggestions of some other dating sites that we've kind of worked on, other than the ones that we talked about. And then also she's going to bring out her wine for the week.
We are going to do wine and dates. What wine would you bring on your next date? Oh, that's a good subject. If you could choose, what wine would you bring on your next date and why? Where's my piece of paper? Write that one down.
Right.
All right, we out. Be safe. Whatever you do, be safe. Safety first.
Please do.
Coming from the girl who just jumped off the building.